Hey folks, welcome to episode 17 of the show LA.
This is going to be a great episode. We've got somebody in the building today talking about speed performance. Coach Les Spellman, he's worked with a ton of guys, Olympic teams, Heisman Trophy winners. He's a master at his craft, but it's going to be an exciting show. We were also out at Passing Down yesterday at the SoCal Regional. Danny?
Sure, yeah, the SoCal Regional in Fontana went down. The Premium was the top squad. They had a lot of squads out there.
Yeah, Premium definitely looked impressive out there. I would say some other teams that looked impressive, Team Hustle with the Lockhart boys on that squad. DSPN was out there yesterday, man, all day at the Passing Down along with myself and one of our other video guys. But you got the lowdown, man. Who impressed you yesterday, DSPN?
There were a lot of great squads out there. OC Elite, Good Eats, 760 Family put up a couple of good performances. It was a pretty loaded bracket.
Rare Breed, man, making some plays out there, definitely against Premium, actually. One of the Rare Breed players just went up and mossed somebody in the back of the end zone, which was pretty dope, man, made a catch in traffic. But like Danny said, a lot of good teams out there. Some of the players individually that I was impressed with yesterday, Che Peary from Sierra Canyon was slinging the rock, helped Premium to a championship in that game, in the tournament. Jalen Smith, the athlete from Alamany who's blowing up this year, had a pick six, just made some really great plays. And then another dude who impressed us all season last year on the circuit, who finished the circuit with no offers, but blew up this year during his junior year, DJ Justice.
DJ Justice was all over the field.
Now there's a quarterback for Team Hustle that was impressing you yesterday.
Yeah, from Los Osos, Donovan Smith has a Cal offer. He was throwing darts all over the field. Great
player. Actually, during the season, we caught Los Osos one game during the year, and he made a couple of dynamic throws that genuinely impressed me. So not a surprise that Donovan Smith is still out there balling. But a lot of great talent, man. We've got some highlights for you, a little package of highlights from yesterday's tournament. So sit back, relax, man. Pop that can of popcorn open, man, and enjoy these highlights.
No balls, man. No balls. We're like 0-9. I'm trying to be
Ladies and gentlemen, coaches and players, to keep your areas clean, please throw away all trash. Staff is working hard to keep the park clean. If you can help us out with that, we'd appreciate that as well. Just keep your areas clean, make it easier for us at the end of the day.
We want to give a big shout out to our partners at Zorts Sports.
Without Zorts, the show LA definitely would not be possible, man. So big shouts to Zorts Sports. But check out the Zorts Sports app on iPhone and Android. Tournament scheduling, league scheduling, they've got it down. Simple, very easy to use. A dummy could do it. But if you've got a 7-on-7 league, if you've got a volleyball tournament, if you've got anything going down that needs scheduling, Zorts Sports is going to make it happen for you. Again, iPhone and Android. Download the Zorts Sports app today and find them on Instagram and Twitter at Zorts_sports. All right, welcome to the show, LA. Special guest to my right, to your left, Mr. Les Spellman. Spellman Performance is his company, man. I'll just tell you right now, this guy is the speed master. So if you're trying to get fast and you're trying to work on your craft, this dude is the man. I've been out there training with him during this NFL Combine prep, and he's just got it together. But just introduce yourself to the people out there, man, and let them know kind of your background, you know, what you played, where you played, and what led you into this path of, you know, just helping people get faster.
Yeah. So my name is Les Spellman. I've been in this 8 years now. So I first started out and I was like not really sure what I wanted to do with my career. And I started to realize, like, as an athlete, like, I would always talk to my teammates and I would explain things simpler to them, but I couldn't really do it the way they were because they're more gifted than I was. So I ran track in college, and I spent my senior year basically helping coach and figure out like how to help the freshmen. So I feel like I had a passion for teaching and connecting people and building relationships. So I got into it 8 years ago as an intern. Started out basically as like a janitor, and then built my way up over the past couple of years. Worked for Olympic teams for 5 years, and then basically developed a program and a system that I felt like was relatable and made sense and was simple enough for athletes. So took that over to NFL Combine training and NFL off-season training, and I've been doing that the past 4 or 5 years.
Now, to anybody out there who's, you know, getting into the business of training or getting into any business in general, how much did it help you learning everything from the intern level?
Yeah, I mean, when I was an intern, I really was a janitor. So like I was mopping floors, cleaning windows, and that type of stuff. And what that taught me was just the value of detail. And a lot of people skip that step. So, you know, making protein shakes, like grabbing water for the guys, like you learn how to be so detailed and so diligent in your work that when you carry over to actual coaching, you kind of have that same philosophy. So,
was there somebody who you got that approach from? Who would you say was your influence with that?
Yeah, Elias Karras in Chicago is where I did my internship at EFT. So he just taught me the value of detail. Like one time he had me paint the whole gym, and then he came back and he's like, there's one spot that's like not that good, so repaint it. You know, it's just like, it's all or nothing. So you're either all in on detail or you're not at all. There is no in between. And that's kind of my coaching philosophy as well. Like, be as detailed as possible, concise as possible, and simple as possible, but don't skip any details.
Now, you know, reverse 8 years back, right? Did you ever think that you would be on your third Heisman Trophy winner that you were helping, you know, work with? You said you've worked with a few, right?
Yeah.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
You've worked with Johnny Manziel,
Yeah.
and now, you know, you got Joe Burrow out there.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that reality like?
I couldn't have pictured any of this, to be honest. Like, most of it to me is that it's pretty surreal. But to me, it's just training humans, training people. So I try not to really think too much into who it is or, you know, what their background is. It's like when they come to me and they're in front of me, we're just killing the job in front of us.
They're all just the same. They're just a person that you're trying to get better.
Yeah, but it's been exciting. It's always fun. I think it's just.
What's the reaction from your family, right? Because you're in the mix,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
but it always takes a person from the outside looking in to kind of let you know the reality of it, right?
Yeah, my dad's pretty hype. My dad's a big Burrow fan. He was a big Manziel fan. So it's really exciting for him. So it's been fun with that.
Now, talk about what it is with your guys' program, right? Because we talked to a kid like Alex Bachman, who we've been covering since he was at Oaks Christian, balling out, and he had no offers, but now he's an NFL vet. And we were talking about this before the show. Once you're in the NFL, you have the option to go to anyone you want to train, right? Your options are endless. Why do guys like that keep coming back to you, in your opinion? What is it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's relationship first. It's the relationship you build. It's how you communicate. And most importantly, it's like the person you are. So I think there's a lot of really good trainers out there, like a lot of really, really, really good trainers. So the first thing you look at is just like, who are you as a person? Then second is like, how do you communicate your craft? So speed training is this big biomechanical mess. So how do you make it simple for each person? So I could have told Alex a million things, but I probably only told him like 3 or 4 things. And from those 3 or 4 things, he went from 4.7s to 4.37. And nothing special. I think all the information's out there. It's just, how do you deliver that information? And then what type of relationship do you have after you deliver it,
What's it like for you? You said you enjoy teaching, right? And so in some of those moments that I personally witnessed, out there shooting with you guys, from week 1 when you guys are shooting compared, early January compared to now, I see guys get off the line and have a smile on their face because they did it right, because it'll click in their head. What's it like for you as the teacher when you see it click with your students?
It's so fun. Like that's the most fun part of it, because I'm intentionally trying to frustrate you week 1 and week 2, week 3, and then I'm gonna load you so much that you can't move. Like you're gonna feel the soreness, you're gonna feel heavy. Then week 5 and 6, you start to unload and they start to get it, and now it becomes fun. So now like we're laughing, we're joking, like we're playing games with it, and now it's so ingrained in their system. It's a new habit, it's a new pattern that that's where it becomes fun. But it takes a lot to actually make something a new pattern. It takes hundreds of reps. And in speed training, you can't do hundreds of reps. So how do you do your 100 reps, 200 reps? A lot of it's video. A lot of it's just communication. A lot of it's mental. A lot of it is design drills that don't involve running, but look like running, that are very close to running. So the more we do of that, the more it becomes just our habit. It's like if I taught you how to walk, the first couple times you do it, it's awkward. But then after a while, it's ingrained and you just do it unconsciously.
Now, speaking of video, being out there and seeing, the different cameras you guys have set up at the different intervals, it seems like there's a lot of technology that goes into what you do. How was that developed and conceptualized? And, and I'm sure it's not cheap, so how did you come into creating that part of the program?
Yeah, it's definitely not cheap, but that's the most fun part of it. So I remember like a couple years ago I was coaching and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm right. Like it looks right, but I'm not exactly sure. And I started doing some research into what was the correct model for running and what is the correct model for what I'm looking at. So for the 40-yard dash, like what exactly is the exact model for the stance or for the first step? How much time should it take to get out of the stance? How much time should it take to get to the first step? How quick should that leg come through? How long should they spin on the ground? So I started researching those questions, and I ended up coming up with an answer based on a model of the best athletes in the world. So the best track athletes in the world, the best guys at the NFL Combine, mixed them together and formulated a model. So we're able to say like, okay, out of your stance, you should do that and point to it.
So you're tracking your guys against those numbers.
Exactly. So the way the cameras are set up is it's tracking velocities. So velocity is distance over time. So how far things are and how much time it spends. So time on the ground, time in the air. So I'm able to see those things from the camera and then measure the guys to that standard. So like if I'm like, hey JJ, you're coming out your stance at 0.32 seconds, he knows, okay, I probably wasted 0.04 seconds doing something wrong.
And what those 0.04, those 0.1, 0.2, that's a big difference at the combine in a performance, right?
Yeah, no, it adds up. It adds up. So, I mean, if you look at a 1/10 of a second, if you want to improve by a 1/10 of a second, then over 10 steps, you got to improve by 0.01 seconds. If you're looking at 2/10 of a second, you're looking at all 20 steps of your 40, you need to improve by 0.01. So it's incremental and it's very small. It's like 1% here, 1% here, but like our philosophy is like you can't go broke making a profit. So if I improve something by 0.01, as long as it doesn't ruin the rest of the timing on everything else, it's going to improve the overall run, even if it's just a start or first step.
Now, two-part question. So one, what can some guys do or girls do, athletes at home, on their own to improve? Where can they go to get some of this knowledge? And then two, are you going to be offering, the kind of tutelage that you give to these future NFL guys or current, NFL vets? Are you going to be offering that on a larger scale to any, student athletes out there in the area, and maybe they could find you at a camp somewhere?
Yeah, the simplest way right now is we're developing an app, and on our app, it's going to have all of our training programs. So that's probably the lowest hanging fruit to be involved. In the middle, we're gonna have mini camps. So essentially, come to a camp, you get data, you find out where you really are, and then you figure out what do you need to do to improve. And the top level will be invite-only camps, and that'll be in the future. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna collect as much data as possible on high school kids in the area, and then we'll invite the top kids to a camp, and then really go into depth on their data and show them how to improve. So those are the 3 levels we'll have, and right now it's it's all combine, it's all off season, but a couple months from now we'll be focused on the youth.
So some of the guys that I've seen out there, this year that we've had relationships with, since early on in their high school career. For example, JJ Taylor, he's always been crazy explosive. I remember watching him at Angel Stadium against St. John Bosco, and he pretty much won that game for Centennial single-handedly. And I don't know if Centennial's gonna, the rate things are going, ever have a chance to beat a school like Bosco again. But JJ Taylor did that, man. And just watching him at Arizona, what are some of those things that you were excited about knowing that JJ was coming into your program? What are some of those just God-given attributes that he possessed that you knew that you could enhance?
Yeah, he's got a natural ability to spin. So when I say spin, that means spin your wheels really fast, which for a running back makes a lot of sense, because when you hit a hole, you have to get the top speed in 3 or 4 steps. The combine is 100% different. So at the combine, you have to be able to build your velocity over the course of 20 yards to reach top velocity near the last 2 10-yard phases. So I knew he could spin, which means I knew he could hit a high velocity, but I also knew that I need to work with him in the first half of that to build that out so he reaches that velocity later on in his run. If you hit your velocity early, what happens is you decelerate the rest. So I got really excited about JJ's because I knew he had this natural ability to spin, which not everybody has. We've had guys in the past who were okay, well, we're gonna have to create something here and make a miracle happen. But for him, he had the God-given ability. And then also he's obviously one of the most coachable, likable people on earth. So it makes the job really easy for him.
Now, who would you compare him to? You've seen a lot of NFL players, right? Who would you compare him to that you've seen?
Man, I don't know. A guy that I've coached, or a guy that...
Yeah, somebody that you're familiar with, yeah.
Well, I had a guy like him the past couple of years, Donnell Pumphrey. Remember him?
From San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Right.
Just had this ability just to roll. He could just spin. And he was really fun to work with.
He ran a 4.3 something, or low 4.4s?
4.4s, yeah. 4.4s. So he was a lot of fun to work with. He just played in the XFL yesterday.
Okay.
Which was awesome. So yeah, he reminds me a lot of him, for sure.
Now another guy from the QB side, he was impressing a lot of the dudes out there when I came out Thursday. Cole McDonald.
Yeah.
He's pretty fast, right?
Yeah, he's fast. He competes with all the skill position guys, and they get competitive week 5, week 6. So he's beating a couple guys in a couple categories.
Now, is he one of the faster QBs that you've had a chance to work with?
Yeah, he definitely is. There might be one guy faster. We'll find out. So yeah, he's probably one of the faster guys.
Now, he just got a combine invite.
Yeah.
Not everybody's guaranteed a combine invite, but it seems like all the guys who are going to your camp, are getting invited, right? What's the secret sauce behind that? Is it Les Spellman? They know that they're with Les. What's going on?
No, I don't think I have any control over that, to be honest. It's a little bit of luck, a little bit of, can't really control that. the selection committee's basing everything off the work they did in college. So I don't think it has much to do with us. But we'll have 8 guys in the combine out of 10. So it's not bad this year.
Now, you work really closely with Mamba Sports Academy. I know, in the past you were out at the facility doing a lot of stuff for them. What was that relationship like with Mamba and Chad and Kobe and the whole company, and how have they kind of helped you in a way, to get to where you need to be?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Mamba as a goal. When I actually was trying to get there a couple years ago, Sports Academy, then I found out Kobe was going to be a part of it, and like the whole Mamba mentality, mindset, and all of that was how I kind of modeled my career and what I was like kind of putting out energy-wise. And when I found that out, I told my girlfriend, I was so hyped. I was so hyped, and I was so hyped that I slept in the parking lot the night before the meeting I had with them, and I was just like so excited. Like I just didn't want to be late, so I just got up there quick. So it was a dream come true. It's like you don't. Sometimes like you make a plan, but you don't expect it to happen the way that it does, as fast as it does. So I was just hyped about that. But the relationship's been great. Like, just Chad has been incredible in opening doors for me, giving me a shot. I don't think anyone heard of me before a year ago. So they've done a lot to help me just get on the map that way. And my main goal is to help kids and spread the message. So they put me in front of more kids, put me in front of more people, gave me more opportunities. So I'm like super grateful for that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Now going into this off season, you have some vets, some pros that are going to be with you. So we were talking about this and saw a couple of guys the other day, Kyle Allen, Josh Allen. Who are some of the guys that you're working with? The names that everybody out there is going to recognize.
Yeah. So Jordan always says Sam, Josh, Kyle. He puts them together and calls them the posers. So Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Kyle Allen, the quarterbacks. And then receiver-wise, River Craycraft, Alex Bachman, Johnny Stanton, Martavis Bryant's working out with us. We'll have like, man, I couldn't even list all the guys right now because they come in and out, but it's probably about 15 deep.
So you guys are like the three amigos out there. It's you, Jordan Palmer,
Yep.
TJ Hushmanzada,
Yep.
right? So what's it like with the three of you guys? You guys are all bringing something to the table and creating this platform for all these dudes to get better. What's the relationship you have with TJ and Jordan, and how does that work out?
We all have such a high respect for each other. I mean, I grew up watching TJ on TV, and I was a TJ fan. So like seeing him and then seeing his work and seeing how it was even better than I expected, it was pretty cool. So I got a ton of respect for him. Jordan is a master communicator, and he's great at relationships, and he's great at like providing energy. So just on the field, I mean, you felt it out there, like everyone just like relaxed and chill, but working really hard. And it's really a blessing that all three of us came together because we have the same mindset when it comes to training. It's like human person first, training second. So we care more about them developing as people than if they can catch the ball and run fast. So that's been a lot of fun. I mean, you couldn't have dreamed it and wrote it out better.
No, it seems like an awesome relationship, man. Everything works smooth whenever I'm out there. Now, currently, you were talking about the XFL starting, and you had some guys that you used to train that are now part of that league. Did you catch the games yesterday?
Saw a little bit. I missed some because we were playing basketball. It's a pretty heated game against the quarterbacks, but yeah, the XFL is a massive opportunity for a lot of our guys. Some guys that are like in and out the league or were on practice squad and trying to make it to a team again. So it's pretty cool that opportunity's there for those guys.
Do you remember when the XFL first launched?
I do, yeah. I'm old. I'm 30, so I do remember that.
He Hate Me.
He Hate Me?
Yeah,
That was a guy.
Rod Smart. So now, what do you tell your guys, coming out? Because the truth is, not everybody makes it, right? Not everybody gets drafted. Even a lot of guys, if you do, get brought onto a squad, people don't realize it. Oh, he plays for so-and-so or he plays for so-and-so. You still have to make the 53-man roster, right? So, how do how do you let your guys know what to expect, right? Because you have to kind of coach them and help them with their expectations of what's happening next at the same time, right?
So a lot of times, like, guys get really far in the future, outcome oriented. So they're like, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be that. And our goal is really just to make everything more process oriented. So like, okay, cool, well let's make sure we make it on time 5 days this week.
Right.
And then let's make sure you do your massages and you do your mental work. And what we try to do is just stack things on top of each other and worry less about the outcome and the expectation and just figure out how to kill what's in front of you. And then what happens is you end up either in the right place or something better, regardless of what the situation is. Like, I have guys that didn't make the 53 that ended up in a dream job that they were going to end up doing in 2 years anyway, that are like super happy.
Right.
So it's my job is less about like, okay, let's make sure I can get you on the 53, because I can't really control that, but I can control you being on time, you doing the extra work, you taking care of your body, all those little details, which usually add up and stack up to helping you make the team. It doesn't hurt you. So I try to keep it that way. That's more process.
You have seems like a small army around you out there, right? So, you know, you've got everything from interns to guys, you know, running the technical stuff and, you know, doing all that. But then you've got, you know, I think I met a physical therapist the other day when I was out. I mean, you have an army of people, right? So at the end of the day, you know, people might think like, oh, it's just one person that makes a company go around, or it's just this one guy who does it all, right? What's the benefit, and explain to people out there, you know, of having an army of people around you? You know, how do you achieve success on a different scale than you can when you're just solo?
Yeah, we have 13 people, which is like incredible. It's so incredible that we've brought that many people together. I would say every person out of that 13 is better than me at something. So I looked at, where am I weak? Where can I fill in the gaps? And then built a team around that, and then built a culture around that. Like, what type of environment do we want? How do we want people to feel? Like, we spent a lot of time creating that vision on what type of style we would have. And then from there, we looked at, okay, what kind of services can we help provide to the athletes? Like, for example, like, just having somebody there to help the guys foam roll or stretch or warm up. Like, those are really small things, but those like stack up in terms of how the environment is built. And then, you know, of course, like on the medical side, we wanted to have people that knew the body, that could help the guys recover, help the guys feel better. There's just so much more to like the training thing than sometimes like people think when they get into the industry. Because at first I tried to do everything. So I researched stretch therapy, I researched like how to do camera stuff, analytics. Like I tried to do everything.
And there's not enough hours in a day.
Hours in a day, and I was average at that stuff. Like, only thing that I was really good at was like on the field. So I started to lose confidence as a coach because I was stretching myself thin by doing things that I'm not naturally good at. So this year was like, the past couple years has been focused on building a team where like I'm now like taking a back seat and listening to them direct me on where I should do things, how I should do things, taking a lot of advice. Every time I have like a thought, I run it through everybody. Then it comes back to me and it's 10 times better. So that's kind of been the vision and the goal for that. Yeah.
Now, you've said you've worked with Olympic teams, you've worked with a lot of players, Heisman Trophy winners. You know, not based on ability or performance or anything like that, but who are, you know, maybe the top 3 to 5 of your favorites, man, that you've had a chance to work with and develop relationships with?
Well, my little sister, Elisa Hickey, she's at Oregon, freshman. She's not my real little sister, but we're like family. So she's been my favorite. And the reason why she's my favorite is not just because she's super talented, but I remember one time, I was just very hard on her at first, and she would go to track meets, and when she would be at the track meet, she would just like talk to everybody and be like this little social butterfly. And I would get so mad and be like, why are you doing that? You gotta focus. She's like, I got this. So she would do that every meet, and every time she did it, she would outperform everyone. And every time I was like, all right, be strict, don't talk to anybody, she'd underperform. So it kind of like switched my philosophy. I was like, wow. So some people need to be this way, some people need to be this way. And that's kind of how I started to build my program. It's like more individual. That's number 1. Number 2, probably Carlin Isles, because over the past 4 or 5 years, our goal has been like become the fastest human on earth, and we're getting there. He's at 25.72 miles per hour right now on the field in a game.
Wow.
And he plays rugby for USA Rugby, so that's been a fun project.
They trying to get him to play football or what?
He already did. He played for Detroit Lions for a little bit.
Okay.
But I think he's stuck on the Olympic stuff. He's going to be trying to do 2 Olympic sports this year. He's going to do rugby and track, and I think he'll do pretty good at
What's he going to run in track?
Goal is under 10.
Yeah?
So, yeah, goal is under 10.
Okay, 100-meter guy?
Yep. And then 3, probably Asia Evans, bobsledder.
Okay.
So she's been incredible. Like, I mean, we both were, when I was in my intern phase, like I was looking up to her all the way up to coaching her for 2018 Olympics.
So have you ever seen that movie Cool Runnings?
Yeah, of course. That's our movie. It's a real
Jamaica,
thing.
we have a bobsled team.
It's a real thing.
John Candy, man,
Yeah.
that was a classic.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, man. Anybody else that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, a ton. Like Dakota Prukop from Oregon. He was the first guy that I trained for Pro Day Combine, coming out of like a big time school. And I remember talking to him like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I need your help. So, because he was coming from Oregon, so I was like, just tell me if you like it, tell me if you don't like it, and we just communicated through everything, and he helped me build my program. Just because I was like, came into it super humble and just asked him what he needed, and he ended up killing it in the Combine Pro Day process. So, yeah, I mean, I could probably sit here for like 3 hours.
Right. No, but I mean, that's awesome though, and it's like you always remember the first person, right? And remember those people who helped you get there. But, we appreciate your time, man, on the show LA. Les Spellman Performance. Just let them know where they can find you on all your social media.
Yeah, everything is Spellman Performance, SpellmanPerformance.com website, Spellman Performance for Instagram, Les7 Spellman for Twitter. I suck at Twitter, so I gotta get better at that, man.
We're more IG, man. We've kind of faded a little bit away from Twitter too. And then again, you're gonna be potentially doing some camps and stuff like that, opening it up. What's the plan for that tentatively? What are you looking at date wise?
So in the spring, we're looking at a spring break camp in March, and then we're looking at a summer camp. And we'll have weekly mini camps in between. So that'll start after the NFL Combine, after things die down for me. So looking at like mid-March, somewhere around there, having weekly camps.
Well, you know where to find Les on all of his social, man. Really great guy, humble guy. So if you reach out to him, he's definitely going to respond. I know he's really active on the social, but check out some of his videos and soak up some knowledge, man, because you gotta get those 10,000 hours in, man, to be a master. Let me say that again. Soak up the knowledge and try to master whatever it is that you're working at. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something. I'm sure Les has got in, way more than that, and he's doing his thing. But we appreciate you on the show, LA, man. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the show LA.
Go ahead and follow us on Instagram at The Show LA. You can find us on Twitter at The HSFB Show. And Danny, where can they find us next weekend?
We'll be up in Passing Down, NorCal, out there in Morgan Hill.
So February 15th and 16th, Passing Down, NorCal. You guys can check out the Passing Down schedule at Passing Down on Twitter and Instagram. We'll actually be at all of their events this year. What comes up after NorCal?
There'll be Portland March 7th and 8th.
So catch us next weekend in the Bay, March 7th and 8th. Catch us in Portland. But that's another episode of the show LA. I'm AP.
I'm DSPN.
Deuces.
Peace.